The tremor had ceased, but I stood frozen, staring through the fresh, jagged hole scorched into the cottage wall. Framed by the burning edges, an entity loomed, its silhouette stark against the swirling methane clouds outside, an ominous presence amidst the chaos of the dying vessel. Vast and dark, its silhouette defied easy description, seeming to absorb the faint light. It was utterly alien, bearing no resemblance to anything I knew, and it was definitely not part of this failing construct. A strange morbid curiosity, the explorer's curse perhaps, tugged at me. Despite the obvious peril, despite the groaning collapse of the ship around me, I found myself taking an almost involuntary step closer to the breach to get a better look.
Don't move a muscle.
The voice in my head was sharp, colder than the Neptune winds whipping through the opening. There was an undercurrent to it I hadn't heard before. Something tight, almost like recognition, but instantly suppressed. I froze, my gaze locked on the entity as the air around it shimmered, distorting like heat over scorched metal. Patches of the methane haze near its form twisted into impossible colors, brief, nightmarish glimpses of landscapes that didn't belong here, jagged obsidian mountains beneath a blood-red sky, flora that pulsed with unnatural light, and for a fleeting instant, a moonlit field lined with weathered stones, faint inscriptions barely visible beneath drifting blossoms. Something in me stirred at that point. My earring gave the slightest tug on my ear. A flicker of sensation, gone as quickly as it came. Odd, it had never done that before. It was as if reality itself was tearing, leaking fragments from elsewhere, from other worlds around this creature. This had to be connected to the anomaly the AI had warned me about. Perhaps even one of the things the Chronos Initiative had foolishly tried to capture and study? My attention was so fixed I didn't notice my own tail twitching nervously until it brushed against a small table near the wall. A dusty, fallen picture frame cluttered to the floorboards with a sound that seemed deafening in the sudden, tense silence. The vast dark shape snapped. If it had a head, it turned. I couldn't see eyes, but I felt its attention lock onto the fallen picture frame, then onto me, with an icy, predatory focus.
Fuck! Run!
The command from the voice in my head was a raw shout, all composure gone. There was no hesitation. I spun and bolted, bursting out of the cottage's main door and onto the precarious, tilting platform that was once a charming porch. Behind me, I heard a sound that wasn't part of the ship's destruction. A deep, thrumming chitter, followed by the shriek of metal as the breach in the cottage wall widened further. The chase was on. My goal was my ship, landed some kilometers away at the edge of this dying holographic forest. The forest itself was now a death trap. Trees flickered in and out of existence, sometimes solid, sometimes passing like smoke. Sections of the metallic ground beneath the illusionary soil would vanish, revealing the burning, twisted superstructure of the ship below, only to solidify again an instant later.
Left! That tree is an illusion. Go through it!
Her voice was a rapid-fire torrent of directions, cutting through my panic. I plunged through where a massive, ancient-looking oak had stood, finding only open, thankfully solid ground, as a section of the actual ship structure behind me collapsed with a deafening roar. I risked a glance back. The entity, I still couldn't make out its true form, was gaining. It moved with a natural, flowing speed, seemingly unaffected by the glitching holograms. Its dark mass surrounded by those shimmering, reality-bending distortions. Where it passed, the environment warped even more violently. Strange crystalline growths erupted from the metallic ground, only to shatter moments later. The air crackled.
For fuck's sake, Xandar! Don't look back! Focus! To your right! Jump the fissure!
A new crack, spewing hot gas, split the ground before me. I leaped, the heat scorching through the soles of my boots even with the coat's protection. The thing behind me let out another of those unnerving, jittering thrums, closer now. The path to my ship felt impossibly long. Each step, a gamble. The holographic scenery was failing catastrophically. The illusion shredding away to reveal the fiery, skeletal remains of the terraforming vessel. It was like running through a nightmare where the rules of reality were being rewritten with every passing second. And the hunter was relentless.